Life is a series of tragedies and triumphs strung together. What matters is how you deal with each one of those things. A lot of people, it's easy to focus on the tragedies and not really see the triumphs. And I'm just going to talk about the earliest tragedies. So I am originally from California, but my dad was in the military, so we moved every year. Never really got a chance to establish friends or anything like that. And I have one younger brother, so, even though at the time, growing up, that was my mortal enemy, he was also the only friend I had, which that was sad in and of itself. My dad was never home though. His job with the military, the nature of his job kept him out of the house a lot. It became apparent as we got older that he didn't want to be there. He didn't want any part of a familial unit. My parents went through an ugly, and I do mean ugly, divorce. I did 7th and 8th grade in Lexington. At the end of my 8th grade year, I guess the divorce was finalized, and my dad had custody for the summers. I guess, however that works out. My mom had full custody, but, he got us for summers or breaks or something like that. The end of my 8th grade year, he said, he was gonna come get us. And at the time, he was still in the military and he lived in Germany. Actually, when they got a divorce, when we left, and I came here to Kentucky from Germany, I remember being really, really upset with my mom. Because I told her, I was like, listen, you're never going to see us again. And, and all she said was, the court said, and this or whatever, and, I got to do what the court said, and you'll be back at the end of summer. So me and my brother, we left to go live with my dad in Germany. End of the summer comes around, he conveniently lost our passports. And then he starts going hard to make a play that now that he's got us on his turf in Germany, thousands of miles away from my mom in Kentucky, he's gonna make a push to fight her after the fact for custody. Because at this point, what can she do? It's not like, being in Lexington and driving to Cincinnati to go pick up your kids. It's not like driving across town. We're thousands of miles away, over an ocean. For my dad to have not had a drug problem or a drinking problem, he most definitely had an anger problem. Nowadays, we would call it bipolar. Back then, it was just crazy. A lot of people in my family say that I look like my mother. And I know that my attitude and how I do things probably reminded him of my mother quite a bit. And he took out that anger on me daily. He used to beat me like a piñata. It's funny because being the oldest between me and my brother, my thought was always to protect him. My mouth was slick, my attitude was bad, and I was in a place I didn't want to be with someone I didn't want to be around. And even though I didn't know it then, God was fortifying me. Being in the house with him daily, and the only thing I think of is if something happened to me, then what happens to my younger brother? The strange thing is after 2 years of essentially being parentally kidnapped, I'm now ready to be a junior in high school. The ordeal was over. Being a kid, I don't have all the I don't have all the details, but from what I have understood, my dad got wind of the fact that my mom had come to Germany to get her kids back. She wasn't playing anymore. And through whatever the court systems or however it worked, he agreed and gave us back up before, you know, SEAL Team 6 did anything or whatever. But that 2 years of my life, you know, up until I was, 13 to 15, has affected me, I don't want to say to this day, but almost to this day. A lot of things I learned in that period. It also marked how I looked at family and how I looked at everything around the concept of family. When we got back to the States, as an adult, I now understand that my mom was elated. She got her kids back, and she had been fighting hard and doing, who knows, fish fries, you know, bake sales, whatever, to raise money to get her kids back. But me being a teenager, I had this anger towards my mom that was, I lost a lot of good years having almost zero relationship with my mom because I was angry about what my dad did, that my mom didn't have any control over that. Now, one thing about Kingdom is it hasn't saved me from tragedies in the least. And one of the worst tragedies of my life, you know, is 2019, while I've been here. This church really has strengthened me, strengthened my relationship with God, strengthened my understanding of family. And I am an advocate of mental health therapy, which I wasn't until a few years ago. And a lot of the way I felt and a lot of the things that I've probably done over the course of my life could have been fixed if a very angry 15-year-old got some therapy, got some counseling. And not to mention that, my mother probably should have got some counseling, like me, her, and my brother should have got some counseling, but we didn't. You know, I found out later in life that through counseling, through prayer, through meditation, and a solid foundation and a word from a good shepherd, you really can start looking forward to the triumphs over the tragedies.